Having belly fat, muffin top, or the love handles can be really, really embarrassing, frustrating, and just something that a lot of people don't like dealing with. And so what I see is people typically try to hide it, with their clothes, wearing bigger clothes. And after a while, the stomach gets so big, they're like, man, I gotta do something about this. And so in this video, I'm gonna break down what steps you need to take to fix it if you're going through those things. Okay. These are things that I see a lot of my busy, high achieving professional clients tend to go through. Um, they have to step on stage, they have to speak at events, they have to speak at these conferences and in the boardroom. And, of course, they have the respect already because, they're smart at what they do, they're good at what they do. But, they're not naive to be aware that our appearance, our image tells people a story about how we treat ourselves, how disciplined we are, how we care about ourselves, right? And so here's the thing, most trainers will just tell you eat less, move more, but it's a lot more to it than that. Okay. I've been doing this over 16 years, and there's a lot of strategies and systems that I've put in place to help my clients out. And one of those strategies is the three C's. Okay. The three C's stand for calories. Okay. The three C's stand for uh, calories. What else? Somebody just liked the video and I was like, oh, people are on. But anyway, you got calories, you have consistency, and then there's one more. I don't know why I'm having a brain fog right now for whatever reason. It's basically calories. Let's go over calories. Then it's gonna come to me. Okay. So you got calories, which is your energy intake. Okay. If you are over consuming on calories, you're gonna find yourself having a hard time losing weight. Even if you're eating healthy, you're gonna have a hard time losing weight. Okay. And so most trainers will tell you to just eat healthy. And I see a lot of people doing this, but they're still having a hard time leaning out. And the reason they're having a hard time leaning out is because you can't outwork overeating. If you're in an energy surplus, the weight just isn't going to go down. Even if you're eating the healthiest of food, there's people who are eating, salads. I had somebody the other day in my coaching program. She was drinking a smoothie. She wasn't seeing the weight go down, and I'm like, okay, well, let's just kind of like troubleshoot, see exactly what you're doing. And I found out that she was adding like peanut butter, almond butter to her smoothies. And I'm like, look, if you have 2 scoops of almond butter or peanut butter in this smoothie, you have a hard time losing weight. So that can easily be 300-400 calories. And so it's very important to be mindful of your calorie intake, which is also your energy management. Okay. Super important. That's the first C. Okay. Calories. The other one is I remember now. Consistency. I knew it was going to come to me after I started like going through it. So calories, consistency, and cortisol. Okay. Consistency is, are you consistent with the right things? There's a lot of people who are, they're doing different diets, they're trying to work out, but they're not consistent with what they're doing in the gym. And so they go 2 days, 1 week, then the next week they go four, then the next week they go one, the next week they might not go at all. That lack of consistency, as we all know this, we see people who are successful at just about anything. You got to be consistent. And so that's the second C. Whatever you start, that's what you want to be able to commit to. If it's 3 days a week, 4 days a week of hitting the gym, two or three meals a day, whatever it is, you got to be consistent with it. Even sleep. A lot of people don't talk about this, but if you're not sleeping, you're sleep deprived, you have a hard time leaning out because you're gonna be tired. You're not gonna be motivated. Even myself, if I don't sleep, I'm gonna have a hard time. I'm gonna have a hard time getting things done that I need to get done throughout the day because I'm tired. I have brain fog, and I know a lot of you guys may go through that too because I know y'all hustlers, y'all getting to it, taking care of your family, but at the same time, you got to take care of yourself. Or else you're gonna find yourself in a position where your health has gotten out of hand, your energy has gotten out of hand, and you find yourself not being able to pour into your family and the people you love and care about the way you want to because you don't have the energy. Okay. And so we have calories, consistency, and then the third C is cortisol. Stress is the cortisol hormone. All right. The cortisol hormone responds to stress. Have a high level of stress, cortisol goes up, makes it hard to burn fat, makes it hard to build muscle. Guys, that belly, the belly fat that you have right there, and women, when they say, some people will say things like hormonal belly fat, it's cortisol. That's all it is. Stress hormone. Okay. Guys, you're having man boobs, excess fat, a lot of cortisol in your body because of stress, lack of sleep, always starving yourself, being hungry, skipping meals. If you're skipping meals and then you're eating a lot of junk food later on in the day, a lot of sugar later on in the day, emotionally eating. Somebody just commented. I just seen it as I was saying it. How do I stop emotional eating? I'm going to talk about that. Okay. I actually can make a video on that one too. I'll make a live on that one too. But it's important that you're aware of the stress, the triggers that cause emotional eating. Because I used to be in that place, y'all. Like even though I've been doing this over 16 years, when I first started my fitness career, I was doing in-person training at that time, and a lot of times I didn't know where my next client was gonna come from. Like I'm just being transparent with you guys. Like you're starting a business, you're like, okay, I got to make some money so I can take care of these bills. I don't want to be broke. And I was stressed. And so late at night, I'd be eating honey buns, Oreos, big bowls of cereal. And because I exercised so much and just so active, and at that point, I was a trainer, but I found myself not necessarily gaining weight, but I just felt terrible. Brain fog. I used to have eczema all on my hands. It used to be terrible, man. Acid reflux. A lot of you guys you're dealing with bloating, acid reflux, GERD. That those types of things over a prolonged time period. This is how folks end up having things like stomach cancer, colon cancer, because they're not eating properly. Okay, this is how stress can manifest inside the body and cause these diseases and these health concerns. Um, See a couple of people got some comments. I'll lose my belly fat from running and material with a hoodie, go planning. Instead of eating food, I feel like I am eating my emotions. Oof, yeah, that's brutal, man. It's no good. You got to eat based on value. If you're not eating based on value, a lot of people they eat based on their emotions, which is like they want to eat based on pleasure. People want to eat based on convenience because they're really busy. But it's important that you start eating based on value, meaning the type of foods they're eating. Are they giving you energy physically and mentally? Do they allow you to vibrate at a high level? Like have you ever noticed, like for me, when I used to emotionally eat a lot, I used to find myself eating all that junk food I just shared with you, and I used to feel terrible. Like I used to just be in a low vibration state, like in a rut. And I just got tired of it. I got tired of feeling like that, eating like that, and then I got a pad. I want to go to sleep. I want to lay down. Can't be productive like I want to, you know. And when I started eating based on value, the type of foods that gave me energy and mental clarity, no brain fog, no feeling sluggish, like I can get up and go get things done. Like some of you guys, you have like demanding careers, and people who are loving, care about you, depending on you, children, wife, husband, parents. We're getting older. Our parents are getting older. And so you want to be able to be there for them. You have to eat in a way that's going to allow for you to do that. Okay. Chris says, my stress is not having anything. I work for nothing and can't get anything, get upset watching videos of people getting blessed. Impossible to find better happiness if I can't get the things I want. Uh, you know, you got to start where you are, man. You got to start where you are. You know, the truth is nobody's coming to save us, and the faster we can realize that, the faster we can realize that we got to save ourselves and not wanting things to get worse, because things can always get worse. And so start from where you are. The good thing is you're watching this video right now, and just by the sheer fact that you're willing to watch this video to educate yourself that and empower yourself with the right information, you can do the same exact thing for any area of your life, whether it be your health and fitness, your finance, your relationships, the whole nine. Just need to find an investor so I can repay a debt and be a friendship. Hey, do what you got to do, brother. Uh, and so those are the three C's: consistency, cortisol, and calorie intake. Super important to be aware of. I know earlier, bear with me. It's a little early for me jumping on this live. But anyway, So that's the first one. The second thing is this, guys. A lot of people think you have to have so much willpower, so much discipline to be able to get in shape and have abs or have a flat stomach, and it doesn't require any more discipline and willpower than what you have in your career. Like you wake up even on days where you don't want to wake up and go to work and go run your business, go do the board meetings, go do all these things. You do it even when you don't feel like doing it. That's discipline, right? And so the same willpower and discipline that you have in your career is the same discipline and willpower that is required to build the body and health that you want. Okay? It just requires having structure. Without having structure, it's so much harder. Imagine how much harder your career and your job would be if you didn't know what you needed to do. It would be super stressful, very overwhelming. But you know the structure. You know it so well you could just do it whenever you could do it while you're listening to music. You could do it while the TV is playing in the background, whatever it is, because you have structure to go off of. You have to have the same thing with your health and fitness. Structure with your eating habits. Not just knowing what foods to eat, but how much of it do you need to eat? How frequently throughout the day do you need to eat your meals? A lot of people are, skipping meals and they're starving themselves and wondering why they're binge eating and, emotionally eating later on in the day. It's because they're skipping meals. And so they're food deprived, energy deprived, because they're not eating with the right frequency throughout the day for the meals. Okay. Same thing with exercise. Guys, if I just stop working out, if I just stop exercising and I ate right, I could stay lean, but my energy still wouldn't be where I want it to be at. And if you're like me, you want to look good, you want to look the part, you want to have that respect and admiration from your colleagues and the people, that you influence, you got to hit that gym. You got to hit the weights 3, 4 days a week. That way you could build up some muscle. Because I get a lot of people who reach out to me and they say, well, I want to tone my waistline. I want to tone my arms. I want to tone my legs. Guys, you have to understand what you're saying when you say tone. Tone is fat loss and building lean muscle. Fat loss to remove the fat that's covering the muscle. Weightlifting is to build the muscle. That way the muscle is more full. And so you can see the tone. You can see the definition. Like if I didn't have tone in my arms, if there were no muscles in my arms, there would be no tone. It would just be a flat arm. And that's what happens to a lot of people who just lose weight just doing cardio. And then they hit me up in the DMs. Oh man, I lost a lot of weight, but I don't like the way it looked. Man, I'm just not happy with it. I got to tone this stuff up. That's why it's important to dial in your nutrition and hit the weights and have structure. Okay. Um, yeah, I had quite a few questions today. Let's see. I'm gonna answer these questions after I finish up. I don't want to keep on breaking up the value. Okay. So last thing is you have to manage your stress. I know I talked about this a little bit earlier with the cortisol, but I want to go into it a little bit deeper because this is super critical when it comes to losing belly fat, when it comes to being able to manage your health and not have health issues like type 2 diabetes and high blood pressure, sleep apnea. You have to manage your stress. How do we do this? You start with rest. If you are not getting at least 6 to 8 hours of sleep, you're shooting yourself in the foot. Okay. Studies, research even shows people who get less than 6 hours of sleep, extremely high chance they're going to be obese. Extremely high because they're just not rested. And so when you're not rested, you lack motivation. When you're not rested, you have hunger pains more frequently because you're deprived of rest, you're deprived of sleep. And so now your body's like, I need some energy some kind of way. So you tend to have these sugar cravings, these savory cravings. You want to have like, the salty foods and foods that are more dense with calories, like bread, you know, because you didn't get enough sleep. And so it's important that you get at least 6 to 8 hours of sleep, guys. Second thing, a lot of people don't think about this. Hydration. Guys, you can't live off of coffee. I know a lot about high achievers love some coffee, love some caffeine, but you have to drink water. If all you're doing is drinking coffee, you're gonna hit a ceiling. And there was one point in my journey, it's maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, grinding extremely hard. And, I didn't really think about it, because I was drinking a lot of coffee. I was drinking about 3 or 4 cups of coffee. I'd head over to Starbucks, get me a grande, get a couple of grandes or whatever. And I found myself not really feeling the benefits of the coffee no more. I'm like, man, why in the heck I'm not energized? What? I don't feel nothing. I'm feeling tired. I feel like I'm regressing, going in the wrong direction. Then it dawned on me. I'm like, man, I don't even be drinking no water. I'm just drinking coffee. And so if you're dehydrated, plus caffeine like coffee, it's a diuretic. And so you need to drink water to hydrate yourself, okay? Because diuretics, they get the water out of your system, okay? So you need to be drinking water. That's going to help you manage your stress too. Because if you're dehydrated, you're going to want to eat more food. If you're dehydrated, you're going to have brain fog. Like your brain won't be able to perform at the high level like it should because you don't have the water in your body to be able to do it. Okay? And so these are two critical reasons. And so that way you can manage your stress. The other thing outside of sleep and hydration is you need to exercise. Exercising, like being sedentary, is the modern day way that they call like the modern day cigarette smoker. If you're always sitting down, you're not walking outside 15, 20, 30 minutes, you're not hitting the gym 3, 4 days a week, and you're wondering why you're tired, you're wondering why you don't have motivation to hit the gym. It's like being sedentary. It's sedentary is like picture a body of water that is just, you know, sedentary. What do you think about? You think about a swamp. It's just settled water. But you want to be like a river. When you think river, you think motion. It's something moving. There's energy to it. That's how you want to be. You want to be moving. The more sedentary you are, the more you're gonna be tired. The more tired you are with all the deadlines and responsibilities you have, you're gonna be tired, man. You're gonna be stressed. And so walking for 20, 30 minutes a day, lifting weights 3, 4 days a week. This will manage your stress. There's levels to this game, y'all. Exercise is not just for looks and appearance and getting strong. Exercise can help you manage your stress, manage your mental stress. Because however our mind and our brain is being affected, our body internalizes it. And so if we're stressed, have you ever just been so stressed to the point where you couldn't even think straight and you just like you can just feel your body's nerves just out of control, it's out of whack, or you need to take a nap or something. That's because of how you're taking care of yourself. So you got to take care of yourself mentally. That way you can produce and do things the way you want to physically. Okay? Super important things, y'all. We started off a little shaky in the beginning of this live. I had a little bit of a brain fart with the 3 C's: consistency, calories, cortisol. But we made it. We made it to the end. And so, with that said, I see a couple of y'all got questions. Let's see here. Brutal Gamer says, I think for working people, meals that would be easy and fast, make the journey seamless, is one of the best options. It's really all about preparation. Like eggs is a good one, but you got to have some type of prep. The people who I see who are excelling with their health and fitness, they buy things that get them faster results. And so, if you're a busy professional and you don't have a what do you call that? A, a, what do you call it? A I don't know what's going on this morning, y'all. I just can't think for whatever reason. This doesn't normally happen, but it's one of those like cookers that cooks food really fast. Somebody go comment, y'all gonna be like, man, dude, what do you think about right now? But anyway, an air fryer. That's what it is. An air fryer. Get an air fryer. Guys, it takes 10, 15, 20 minutes to cook almost anything in an air fryer. Okay. What else? Get a skillet. You should have a skillet. You don't have a skillet. What are you doing? But get a skillet. You can saute almost anything in 10, 15, 20 minutes. You know, chicken, fish, steak. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't shouldn't take no more than like 10, 15, 20 minutes. And so if it takes longer than that, you know, you're doing these cookbook ingredients that take forever, which you don't have to do. Uh, I tend to eat a lot of eggs, 6 eggs a day. That's a lot of eggs. That's a lot. Uh, Massive deficit. Eat healthy, workout, but I have 3 hours of sleep per day. Uh, that's not a lot of sleep, man. You got to get more sleep than that. Yeah, that's alarming to me. Like as a health professional, that's concerning. That's one of the first things I help my coaching clients out with, just getting their wellness routine on point. How many hours are you sleeping? How much water are you drinking? Are you managing, and have like structure in your life to take care of your mental health? Because if those things are not aligned and in order, it's gonna be hard to follow a nutrition plan and start to build healthy relationship with food. It's gonna be hard to exercise and hit the gym if you're tired and sleep deprived and dehydrated. And so start taking care of yourself, man. These things are important. But other than that, guys, gotta get up out of here. We're a little over 20 minutes. I try to keep this at like 15 to 20 minutes. But if you would like help from me, you want more structure on what steps you need to take, you're tired of wasting time with trial and error, I'll drop a link down in the description below. That way you can learn more about coaching, one-on-one coaching with me. All right. That way we can fix your health, drop this weight, get rid of that belly fat. All right. We out of here. Peace.